spaceman Lavelle, it's the only way to fly. Moscow, the Soviet news agency TASS says the Russian Luna 8 spaceship was unsuccessful in its attempt to make a soft landing on the moon's surface today. It was the fourth failure by the Soviets to make history's first soft landing on the moon. But TASS said the latest moon probe took a step towards the realization of such a landing. For the current shot to have been successful, the craft's retro rockets had to fire at the proper split second and break the hurtling instrument package to a gentle landing. London, the London stock market and the pound both suffered today from the backlash of bank rate increases by Canada and the U.S. Federal Reserve Bank. Uncertainty over the next move in the French presidential election and the continuing Rhodesian crisis added to that uneasiness. Pearl Harbor. Tomorrow at Pearl Harbor, they will be remembering what happened 24 years ago, the Japanese attack that brought the United States into the Second World War. Thousands are expected to visit the memorial that straddles the submerged hulk of the battleship Arizona. Los Angeles. Last August, Negro riots in the Watts district of Los Angeles have been described as an explosion, a formless, quite senseless, all but hopeless, violent protest. The description came today in a report to California's Governor Edmund Brown by an 8-member commission headed by former Central Intelligence Agency Chief John McCone. The report says that no single cause could be pinpointed. Toronto, Ontario Hydro Chairman W. Ross Strike said today the U.S. Federal Power Commission report on the massive November power blackout will get immediate study. The report, released this morning, says the chain reaction that plunged 80,000 square miles into darkness could have been avoided if employees at the Sir Adam Beck Hydro plant had reset an electric relay. The report says the relay to handle power loads had not been reset since 1963 despite increased power loads. Toronto, a 21-year-old suspect in the Detroit slaying of a teenage babysitter waived his rights for an extradition hearing today. Najib Qadri was arrested Friday night in Calgary by RCMP officers working on information supplied by Toronto police. Qadri had been the object of a police search since the discovery of the body of Julie Passanen last month in an apartment occupied by Qadri's estranged wife in Detroit. That's the news. The weather mainly clear and cold tonight, variable cloudiness and not quite so cold tomorrow. Winds northerly 15 to 25, becoming light tonight and west 15 tomorrow. Low tonight and high tomorrow for Toronto 20 and 32, Peterborough 15 and 30, and Muskoka 10 and 30. The outlook for Wednesday mainly cloudy and milder. Currently in Toronto it's 22 degrees, 22, and the winds are from the northwest at 11 miles per hour. CHUM News, first 1 seconds count next at 12:55.
CHUM 1050 Toronto.
And now here's the Midnight Sports and Terry Davies.
The New York Rangers have fired coach Red Sullivan. The Blue Shirts have not won a game in their last 6 outings and are currently holding down 5th spot, 2 points back of the Leafs. Sullivan's place behind the bench will be taken by General Manager Emile Francis, something that Punch Imlach has proved can be done. Sullivan will remain with the club, coordinating scouts and scouting. Ranger Publicity Director John Halligan gave CHUM News this statement on behalf of the principals involved in the developments.
We're making the change with the hope that we can get the club moving along toward making the Stanley Cup playoffs, Francis said. We've hit a bad streak recently, but we feel the club can snap out of it. I'm certainly pleased that Red will be staying on with the organization, Francis continued. He'll be scouting in all the pro leagues and will be working very closely with our own farm system and our scouts. Francis was the only person considered for the job, according to Irving Mitchell-Felt, chairman of the Rangers, and club president Bill Jennings. Emile knows much more than anyone else about the present club, and there's no doubt he's the man for the job, Jennings said. Naturally, I'm sad to see my duties changed, but I'm more than happy to be an ongoing part of the Ranger organization, Sullivan said. I gave the job everything I had, and I'm only too sorry I couldn't have done better. The Rangers are on the way up, though, and I'm sure they're on the right road toward becoming a power in the National Hockey League. He's sad that he is, like he says, that my duties are being changed, but he's certainly glad to be given the opportunity to stay in the organization.
Ranger Publicity Manager John Halligan. Maple Leaf defenseman Bobby Baugh underwent surgery on his right knee yesterday afternoon and will be out of the lineup for at least 6 weeks. 2 other Leafs are hampered by ailments. Marcel Pronovost had a cyst removed from his chest, and Red Kelly is suffering from an inflamed wrist. The Leafs worked out yesterday at the Chalmers Center following 2 weekend defeats at the hands of the Red Wings. Punch Imlach is apparently preparing to make some changes, and the word may become official later today. From what can be gathered, Imlach may dip into the Rochester Farm Club for a little help, notably someone who can put the puck in the net. Punch obviously has problems. The Leafs are sitting in an uncomfortable fourth spot, 10 points off the pace of the league-leading Hawks and only 4 points ahead of the basement Boston Bruins. In Ranger territory, Speedy Lou Ngotti has threatened to hang up his skates at the end of this season because he's warming the bench too much. Ngotti is sitting out most of the time because former coach Red Sullivan figured he was too small to take the pressure of shift after shift. Ngotti's a slight 160 pounds. Says Lou, "I'd rather not dress than just sit around doing nothing." In OHA Junior B play, Whitby and Dixie played to a 2-all tie, Belleville 6, Coburg 4, and Kingston 10, Peterborough 4. Quarterback Johnny Unitas has declared himself out of the National Football League's championship game if the Baltimore Colts make it. Unitas suffered torn ligaments in his right knee in Sunday's game against the Chicago Bears, and he underwent surgery on Monday night. He is now in hospital with his right leg in a cast. Asked how long he would be inactive, Unitas replied 6 weeks. The NFL title game is just 4 weeks away on January the 2nd. At first, there was a faint hope that Unitas would be ready for the playoff game. Unitas said he will be in hospital for about 1 week and then will have to walk on crutches for a while. With Unitas out, young Gary Quazzo will be the Colts starting quarterback in their last 2 regular season games against Green Bay next Sunday and Los Angeles December the 18th. Baltimore leads the Western Conference race by 1/2 game over Green Bay and by 1.5 games over Chicago. Buffalo soccer-style kicker Pete Gogolak has taken a commanding lead in the American Football League scoring race. Gogolak booted 5 field goals and 2 conversion points on Sunday for a season's total of 105 points and a 17-point advantage over runner-up Gino Capriati of the Boston Patriots. Capriati was idle over the weekend. San Diego's Paul Lowe is the rushing leader with 990 yards, nearly 200 more than runner-up Cookie Gilchrist of Denver. Denver's Lionel Taylor is number 1 in pass receptions with 73. Taylor has gained 989 yards and scored 5 touchdowns. However, runner-up Lance Allworth of San Diego has gained 1,428 yards and scored 12 TDs on 62 catches. Halfback Tommy Mason of the Minnesota Vikings will undergo knee surgery this week. The Vikings activated rookie Jim Young of Hamilton from their taxi squad to replace Mason. Young, who is 21, is the only Canadian player with a National Football League team. And if the National Football League's Western Conference race ends in a tie, the tie playoff game will be in Green Bay, Wisconsin, December the 26th. And it is possible for Baltimore and Green Bay to tie for first and for Chicago and Green Bay to finish in a deadlock for the lead. But it is not possible for Baltimore and Chicago to finish in a tie, nor is a 3-way tie possible. And that's sports on CHUM. Sport news all the time on CHUM by dialing 929-1211. The next complete report at 6.
Let's go, 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 go.
Good morning, everybody. This is Duff Roman for Bob Lane. All night long. Come on in.
Up,